छाया आसमान देखो झूमता गगन है छाया आसमान देखो झूमता गगन
Hey everybody, so another Kyle's Classic Cuts, and once again I'm mixing it up. I have been going through your questions this week. The first time I've actually gone through all the comments over the last few weeks, and I thought it'd be a good time maybe just to ask me anything, and I'm now going to respond. It's funny to go through all the requests from like the first time, and people are like, there's like 9 requests for Missing Me, so I guess I got to work that song up. I don't have any idea how that goes. There's Jerk. So I have a couple other, so I got some homework for the next couple weeks, sounds like. So I figure I'd start with this question here from S. McGee, 83. How old were you when you started playing? How did you learn? I started playing piano pretty young. I think my family had started, I'm the youngest of 7 children. So all the family siblings had to take piano lessons. And so I just kept hearing it in the background, and I started playing way before I took lessons. I would just sit down at the piano and play, or just get lost in the sound, especially like on the, this is not the real thing, but with the grand piano or the piano we had there, you could just put the sustain pedal on and listen to how the strings vibrated. So that was kind of my first thought of that. So I played for a while, and then I had to take the lessons. And the lessons were like, I just want to play music. I don't have to worry about lessons. But I did it anyway, and then I did it for a while. And the best thing my piano teacher said to me was, she noticed that I wasn't practicing as much. I was probably 8 or something. And I told her, yeah, and I started walking by the piano, and I feel guilty every time I walk by a piano knowing I should be playing. So I don't like playing piano. I want to stay away from the piano. She said, okay, then let's stop taking lessons. I want you to be in love with music, and when you're ready to come back to me. So I stopped for 2 or 3 years, and then I kind of fell in love with the piano again, and then I started needing or wanting to take lessons, and so I went back. So the best thing she did for me was to kind of force me to stop taking lessons until I wanted to. Jennifer Gass said, what is the first song you wrote with lyrics? Talk about, so I had so before I even took lessons, I had a band. The band was called Ogden Nash, and then we changed it to Contraband. I think I must have been taking lessons. I guess it was 10 or 11. And I played piano and bass with this little realistic Moog synthesizer. It came from Radio Shack. And I played the bass lines, and then I had my other friend played a little bit of saxophone. He played, and then the drummer would come. He's like the best guy in the band. And so we would play for nobody because nobody wanted to listen to us because we weren't very good. So we just said, well, we're going to do a virtual concert. We all know about that. I could start doing them again. We would, 10 or 12-year-old boys would hang on the porch, and we'd play to traffic. Like, it wasn't a lot of traffic in Ruxton, Maryland, but cars would go by, and we would just play super loud. And we would just, pretend that was our audience because no one else would want to see us. And so I think I was writing music back then, 10 or 11, 12 years old. And I actually had the original tapes because we would do live recordings, dude. They're totally bootleg recordings. Oh my God! It was Contraband, circa 1983, man. I was there. I was there in the front row. We take like a boombox and we press record and we like play a couple notes and like, okay, move it closer to the drummer so we can hear more. Then farther from the drummer, closer to the saxophone. So we would make recordings that way, and I think I actually have those recordings. I should release those. No, I shouldn't. They're awful. I listened to one just now, and I think this is one of the first songs I wrote called "I Wonder." Something like "Sitting on the banks of the river" or something. It's probably the John Lennon or something. Wondering what the world would be in the future. I was into these 3 chords called 1, 4, 5. They're pretty popular. I wonder, oh I wonder, something like that. A 10-year-old would wonder about a lot of things. He wondered. So that's the first tune I wrote. Okay. Daniel Hardy said, Kyle, at what point in the creative process of writing a song do you know it's going to be well received? Is it different for every song? Well, in the case of that song, I had no idea that it sucked so much. But I think, I kind of write songs that I want to write, whether they're going to be well received or not. Especially on my solo work, I'll do a weird 80s pop song that I could never bring to cheese. Or I'll do kind of like, the Vampire Weekend cover. Or I'll do things that inspire me, and sometimes they translate. Sometimes even it translates to the fans. But I don't necessarily think about how it's going to translate right away. That being said, like the big reveal was written in a way that I was kind of catering towards a certain audience. Definitely the jam band scene. And I wanted there to be an epic moment, and I wanted there to be a Kang raging moment, and I wanted the lyrics to be about the scene or growing up in the scene, and so in that way that was crafted. So I'm getting a little better at knowing how to craft songs for certain genres, like whether it's for me or whether it's for Cheese or some other people I'm working with. But it definitely takes a while to kind of get that going on. This is a good question from Bend Market. Did you ever experience an incident as a member of the audience? String cheese incident. What was your first impression? Yes, I was there. Once again, I was there, dude, at the Fox Theater. I had no idea what year that was. When did I join the band? I joined the band in 96, 97, so I probably saw them 95. It was the Fox Theater. It was, I think it was a snowy night, and I think it was just them. It was like one of the first headlining shows. Oh, I know what it was. Dirt, my band Dirt, had opened up for the band. And I saw them, and I was like, man, these guys are really good. And I was really impressed by Billy's acoustic guitar playing. I was blown away. And back then, we were all younger, but he looked especially younger. He looked like he was 16 or something. And he was ripping acoustic guitar. And I grew up playing 80s music. I would cover car songs and all when I was a kid, and there's no acoustic guitar. I was in, Grateful Dead. There's that one live album that's great. That's an acoustic unplugged one, but there wasn't a whole lot of acoustic music I was listening to. Maybe like Long Train Running by the Doobie Brothers or something. But to hear a quality sounding acoustic guitar was amazing, and he played it great. So I was definitely hooked. I loved what they did. It seemed a little fruity, and I was like, okay. Lester had a coconut. Who's Lester, and why are they talking about coconuts? But I enjoyed it. And I remember there was actually that night when Kang came up to me and said, would you be interested in sitting in? And I said, sure. Oh, I know why, because I already knew Kang from playing with Dave Watts. Kang and I connected through that. And I said, sure. And I sat in, and I never have unsat in. I've basically been sitting in my whole life. Okay, the next question. is from Ramble on Rose 30. Which is your favorite song playing? Which is the favorite song we're playing now, I guess? If this is Billy, and the question, well, what was your favorite song in the set? Billy would say, the last one. No, the favorite song we're playing now, I mean, all the new stuff is not really new anymore. Trav's new one, Manga by Jason. I mean, I just enjoy playing stuff that hasn't been picked over. A lot of our songs roll over. Cool song, and has like this epic storyline as far as like the history of the song, and we've been playing forever. But at some point, you kind of really, what else can I play in that middle section? You know, I've played every riff possible over the last 25 years, and so when you have new songs that have new spaces to go to, it's exciting for me. Joey Ryan said, do you still have that green suit that was made from your house drapes? Yes. I will grab that at some point. When I first moved into this house, there were some awful drapes. It was from the house was built in 1971. And there were some drapes with like farmers and like pilgrims. And they were like gray. But it was actually more orange because it was hip, to have orange stuff for Micah and stuff. So I took them down, and I think I sent them. Who was it? I forget who I sent them to. I'm gonna get busted now. And she sewed them into a pair of pants and a wonderful jacket. Oh my God! It was Dina. I think it was Dina. And she did a great job, and it kind of turned a little bit more Sgt. Peppery than I wanted, but it was fucking awesome, and it was a great story to tell. Yes, I took the curtains from my house when I first bought it and turned them into a suit. Facebook, Jess Coppollard wonders about Facebook groups. Do you love them or hate them? The answer is I don't pay attention to them. So I generally try not to listen to people's critiques. And I guess I should. I mean, Travis does more. Travis is really on the boards and kind of willing and able to let his ego go enough to take it in. And so sometimes he'll come to the band and be like, most of what they're saying is crap, or not crap, but we don't have to pay attention to. But here's a few people that have something that's really important to say, and then we'll learn. But generally, I try not to listen to that stuff. Generally, I don't. This is funny. Ryan Zink last week, I think said, "Hey Kyle, what are your thoughts on the success of Prize Cart?" Which is Prize Cart, which some of you guys may not know if you're going to go into Electric Forest. It's I made a silly little jingle, and they wrote me one day and said we need something funny for post shows all throughout the forest where people can help pick up and take care of the forest, pick up the trash, etc. But we need like a little jingle, so I made this really goofy kind of Don Pardo kind of prize card. It sounded a little bit more like Saturday Night Live, right? Right? Who's it? Saturday Night Live. Jane Curtin. That kind of vibe. And what do I think about the popularity? I think it's really funny that it actually turned into something. In fact, I think Electric Forest is going to do something with it coming up in the next couple months. But it was a surprise, and I love it. And I have the perfect voice for that. And then when I walk through the forest and I scream it loud, people are like, "You sound just like that guy." I'm like, "I know that guy. I can get in touch with him." Let's see. How old were you when you started playing? I think I got into that one already. How did Cheese, this is from Marty Burnside, how did Cheese get inspired to have the amazing spectacles at festivals such as Shebang and Halloween? We had been doing, well, the name of the band is the String Cheese Incident. So, granted, it's probably the worst name ever. That's a given. Okay. So what do you do with the name? Well, we take the incident part. We thought about this. This is like, we're on Bussy driving around. And let's make every show an incident. We can kind of parlay that into like some unique things. So early on, we would do incidents in every little town we played, and our management would bring on like weird circus freaks. So we would be playing like Detroit on a Tuesday, and between the set we'd have the Power Puff Pain Girls or something, and it would be like this weird circus act where they would show up like barely wearing anything, and they take like cigarette butts and burn themselves, and then they would flip over, and then hula hoops, and then cut this out. It was like really bizarre. And that was one. And then another time we did like this circus, tricycle troupe or something. And then, so we wanted to make every show an incident. And then it became like, this is getting kind of hard to manage. Like, we don't want a boys choir or tricycles or dancing bears between every set. So we decided to kind of push it towards major events. And then at that point, we were doing something called Horny's Hideout. And John Dwork and a lot of our friends helped us kind of manifest this vision for something larger. Right about that time, we also went to Japan. And in Japan, I think it was Fuji Rock or one of the other ones. Walked through the forest, and right there is a giant disco ball. This is maybe 2000, 2001. Maybe before, 98. And there's a disco ball, and there's hammocks, and there's cool lights happening. And so we kind of said, wow, we're doing something similar at Hornings. Let's just kind of maybe glean some of that and bring it to our Oregon Festival. And so from there, it got bigger, and Andy was involved in making it all awesome. And then we moved it to Electric Forest, which was, the next level, because I think then the Burning Man got involved. So I think it was this weird thing that we were all trying to bring music and art together, and it just kind of blossomed at the same time. That might be it for time, but let's see. Let's see. What is your favorite shitty beer? That's a good one. Who said that? Nathaniel Smith. If I had to drink shitty beer, which I don't do, it'd probably be something like Rolling Rock or something. Playing with the Grateful Dead. I think I've talked about that recently. And then maybe to continue and finish up, Aaron Weissman said, I must ask whether SCIPA will ever return. And that would be a wonderful thing. Where's my can? Right here. Right now, it doesn't look like it's a great plan, but we're still talking to them. Maybe figuring out a way to kind of ship it out to people individually. But it was a good beer, and the best part was also the fact that the can was badass. If you can see the can. Well, thank you guys for all the questions. I am trying to be brave, and a lot of people are doing this, but I'm attempting to put together a live set. And I want to kind of step it up the game. I think I'm going to do some funny videos, do some fake commercials, or to figure out some way to make it really special. So I'm going to do a live set coming up. I haven't figured out when that's going to be. Probably later this month or early next month. But keep an eye out for that, and that'll be a lot of fun. I have to learn all the songs to play again. Sounds like I got to do Missing Me too, right? My baby's gone, too far away. If I can remember the lyrics. Yesterday she couldn't come found on baby. Don't matter what she says, don't matter what she do. Don't stay way too long. I have some stories about that song. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.